Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Amplify Our Advocacy. I'm your host, Vincent Wolf, and I'm actually here with the rest of our co-hosts. We've got Cray, we've got Josh, and we've got Tiana today. So for this podcast episode, it's actually the final one of season 1. So we wanted to talk a little bit more about the origins of YA4C and how all of us kind of got started in this organization. So we're going to be sharing little snippets of, first off, how Tiana started it, and then kind of what amplified her to begin this organization, and then our own stories on how we joined later on in the year, and then how the podcast has evolved out of it. So Tiana, if you want to start, we can just do a simple introduction, and then you can kind of just go from there.
Yeah, thanks so much, Vince. Hey, everyone. My name's Tiana Day. I'm the 18-year-old founder of Youth Advocates for Change, founded back in June 2020, so about a year ago. And I basically got involved in my activism, starting off in the Black Lives Matter movement, but progressively, as I've continued on through the year, I've realized that I have lots of passions outside of Black Lives Matter as well, just social justice in general. And I wanted to create a platform that amplifies youth voices, inspires local action, all through intersectional social justice issues. So just create a space that students feel really that their passions are being amplified while also making change that helps the community.
Awesome. Yeah. And then what we could do from here is we can briefly kind of just go in. I can jump in and talk about how I got into YA4C, and then we can just go around the table. So I think I first saw Tiana's protest in early June of 2020 when it was at the Golden Gate Bridge. Yeah. And I was like, man, that's so awesome. I want to get involved any way I can. So I actually it was a rally afterwards. I think it was on Juneteenth of last year. So I'm pretty sure it was June 19th. It was at the Golden Gate Bridge as well. And I actually was going to record for my own podcast. And then I was just I kind of have a spur of the moment idea. I was like, well, maybe she'd be interested if I interviewed her. So then it just kind of stemmed from there. And then we just kind of started working from there. And then the podcast kind of evolved. And now we have all 4 of us working on it. So it's pretty dope. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Well, that's funny because we have the same exact story, Vince. So it's not going to be any much more different. But I was starting to record mine, and it was just again, in the spur of the moment, I think it was right when the whole George Floyd incident was hitting. And I was just looking for some people to that would be, comfortable with just talking about it. And, because I saw a lot of people posting about it, and I was like, maybe, it would make more sense to have someone talk about, the ongoing issue and actually talk about their experience, and if they're involved in something that is gearing towards, actual change within the community. And I was looking locally, and then I saw Tiana's, I think someone showed me a story, and I was like, oh, wait, I know what school she goes to. So let me see if I can connect with that. And then, I just, I forgot. I mean, I don't know when I interviewed you. It seems like a while ago, but it wasn't really that long ago. It was literally last year, right?
Yeah, maybe a few months ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't really that long ago, but it just felt like a long time ago, just because that was during quarantine. So yeah, that's how I got connected. And then I remember she was saying that she wanted to start a podcast, and she wanted to start, expand her whole thing. And I was like, oh, okay. I had her on, might as well, be a part of the journey and see how far that goes. And, I'm pretty excited. I was pretty excited, and I was happy that, you let me join your journey and let me meet, your goons and your friends. It's been fun, getting to know Cray. So, and Josh. Vince, and that's pretty much how I got connected with Tiana, and it's been pretty cool.
So, it's been a crazy ride. The beginning of this podcast, I remember thinking I was going to do it all by myself, and I suck at podcasting, I realized. So I'm so grateful to have built this team of awesome people. Once I met you guys, then I met Cray, who
Cray's the man.
I used to go to school. We used to go to school together, ever since middle school, but we never really talked or anything. But he reached out and he was like, "Hey, I have some pointers. Actually, I'll tell you. You can go ahead.
Is that what
tell them how you got involved too after a few episodes."
Oh yeah, so when me like I am opposite like me, Vince and Josh, because I did know Tiana like back then, and obviously I never talked to her, but then I think obviously I saw like what she was doing on Instagram, like she was actually like pointing out how she, I don't know, just called out a lot of people at our school for being just saying the N-word, which I'm like not surprised. I'm not surprised it's a lot of people, but like the people, like I was like, okay, she's getting them, and then obviously yeah, I was like, yeah, like this is great. I was just looking at I think during that time I was looking on my Instagram like every day, like almost like every hour, and then there's like 6 people she like exposes on her story. And I'm like, damn, this girl's getting this. So I was like that, yeah, I was like that, and then I really just saw her just evolve, obviously here in San Ramon, how she just organized protests here, and then like when she went to the Golden Gate Bridge, I'm like, I know her. Like I actually know her. Damn, I'm telling that to like a couple of my friends. Like I know her. She knows me a bit. Hopefully she still remembers me. And she was just doing her pro like all that on the Golden Gate Bridge. I'm like, damn, that's crazy. And yeah, when I just saw her start the organization, I was like, okay, it's cool that she's doing that. And I think when you guys did a podcast, I listened to the first or second episode. I'm like, I did send that email. I was like, do I want to get involved in this? Because I am. Like I'm into music production, so and I've handled making a podcast like once or twice before, so I was like, okay, should I get myself involved with this? I might be able to do it or whatever. And obviously, I shot the email, and I think maybe like a week or two later, I start I don't know. I think I was recording the next episode with I think it was Vince and I don't know who else. Oh, it was for the color. Comfort Your Color campaign. That's the one I remember. Yeah.
You basically just shot me an email like, "Hey, dude, you're producing trash, Tiana." Like,
yeah, I did.
It's no, I'm joking, but yeah, I remember I was up for like 5 hours editing this podcast that Josh had done with Aaliyah. And like it was like section by section. I would literally cut out every single piece, it was exhausting. So it was a huge help when Cray reached out and was like, "I can help you. Don't worry about it anymore." So grateful for all of you guys.
Like you said, it takes 5 hours. It takes me usually like an hour to get all this actually. Like, and that's just like actually sometimes an hour or two just to get like the audio and the video. I do stupid fast. I don't know how I'm able to do it. Like I can grind it out and then yeah, but that's like our process usually is faster than. Mm-hmm. I don't know, and I'm like, we're doing this all remotely, which I'm grateful we're able to do this all. I'm like, Vince, you're the one in all the way in Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy, but like again, seeing you here, like I was actually I had this idea for I think this last episode actually, like if we could do an in-person stuff because I have stuff that I can borrow, but I think, and I don't know, we could have like recorded this outdoor or something, but obviously it just. We're in California in the middle of a heat wave right now, so I was like, "Oh, I don't want to do that," and I'm gonna burn gonna burn this precious equipment that I have. Yeah, I don't want to burn that. Yeah, and obviously, like with Vince, I was gonna just have him over to Zoom, and then I had like I always have crazy like ideas. Well, in the last few months, I always had crazy ideas and like how we could approach this podcast and how we can really just advertise it to a lot of people and just the different people we can interview. I'm like. No, I'm not taking any credit or being boastful or anything. Like I'm the one who found Ashland So for this podcast.
You've been clutch. Yeah, Cray also helped me out with my podcast too. So I was able to pump out some episodes a little quicker because the editing is not my thing. I feel you, Tiana.
Yeah. Cray is the brains behind this podcast for sure. You definitely helped out so much.
Yeah. I know. I couldn't imagine having to do this on my own too. Even like with my own podcast, when I was doing it for like several months, I was like, "This sucks. Like, this makes me not want to do it anymore." And it's just, you do it pretty fast. So it's pretty impressive. It's a gift, dude.
I still don't know how. I still don't know how, man. I'm like,
honestly, that's why I love this organization. Is like I created this organization with the thought in my mind is like I have so many different passions, but I don't have experience for any of it. So really this podcast was like just for people who want the experience to podcast and, you know, learn how to edit and produce and create something like this and network with other people and meet new people who are doing awesome things too and do interviews. It's really like everything I do in the nonprofit is for experience based for the people who are a part of it, like to benefit from it. So it makes me so happy to know that it served its purpose, at least season 1, where I feel like everyone's like learned something new or is going home with a new skill that they've learned, whether it's producing or, you know, just being able to interview more people and expand your networking. Yeah, like that was just the main goal of it. So love that.
And I remember you kind of answered this on my podcast, but this was a question that I remember someone told me to ask you when I told them that I was going to talk to you again. Was did you expect your like the organize or to like create an organization that would be able to like grow this big, or were you seeing it like that, or after the whole you know, Golden Gate Bridge thing, did you see yourself actually go after, you know, create an organization, make a podcast, or were you just kind of like going with the flow?
Yeah, absolutely not. I was totally going with the flow. In the beginning, my plan straight out of high school was to go to Southern California to do competitive cheerleading. I had a D1 scholarship. I was so set. I loved it. Yeah. And then I led this protest. And I remember one of the next days I had an interview with one of these news stations. They're asking, you know, what, or it was actually directly after, it was directly at the protest, right after we got off marching. And they're like, what's your next move? And I was like, I'm going to start a nonprofit. And I don't know why I said that on live.
They're like,
I don't know why I said that.
Yeah.
Oh. That is really that is how it came into being. Because my dad was talking about it. He was like, you should start something after this. And I've always kind of wanted to start a nonprofit or an organization or like be a business owner, something like that, like own something and be able to create from the ground up. But I didn't know it was going to be this early. And I didn't know I would postpone college for it and it would take over my life. So it's honestly been such an amazing learning experience, but it was just kind of like a just do it intuition moment in my mind where I was like, yeah, I'm going to start a nonprofit. Like, who's going to stop me now? I just led a protest of over 50,000 people across the Golden Gate Bridge. Like, I felt very empowered and knowing that it was for the right reasons too. And just fighting for the liberation of like my own people and seeing how many people were so empowered and inspired by that movement. It made me realize like young people need these outlets to have other empowered people like within reach. Like I need to be surrounded by creative people 24/7 in order for more creative ideas to happen. And so I've never been a part of that. I've never been a part of leadership or anything like that growing up. So it's like, I'm just going to create my own organization and people are going to say what kind of projects they want to do. And I'm going to say, let's find funding, let's find volunteers, and let's make it happen. And that is where Youth Advocates for Change just kind of happened. And now we have people in 7 different state chapters and we have like...
What are the other states, if you don't mind?
Oh, yeah. Let me actually pull up the website because I'm always forgetting.
I think it's Maryland, Ohio, Florida. I think Tennessee or South Carolina.
Okay, we got currently. We just actually had 2. We had 7 a few months ago, but we had 2 drop out just because of school purposes and everything. And that's another thing with this organization. I really wanted it to be, you know, you put as much commitment as you want into it because all of us are still students and all of us work and have lives of our own. I want it to be something that's fun for people to come to and be excited to work for and not feel like it's work, actually. Like I want it just to be something that's fun. But we're working in California right now, Kentucky, Ohio, Minnesota, and Maryland, which is our main state chapters, which are all fundraising and creating change in their own communities, which is really cool because it was started right here in the Bay Area. But yeah, I think as of right now, we've raised over $27,000 in our Black Scholarship Fund. We have been featured on CNN. We've been featured out of the country in Milano, Italy. We've been featured in Korea. We've been featured in so many different articles that are not only nationwide, but internationally based as well, which is really cool because I did not expect that we can have that kind of impact in under a year.
But I know we have our lot. And again, I look at our analytics. Sometimes we do actually have international listeners coming in. I don't remember. I think I saw one from like Iceland or Poland or whatever. It's like the less than
That's
1%,
awesome.
but we have people like our listeners. For sure. I know Philippines, of course. Shout out to our Filipino fam.
Yeah, there we go.
Yes.
Yeah. Shout out
Uh,
to the homies in the Philippines.
yeah,
Yes.
we have that, and I think it's crazy just how this kind of wide reach. And I know, like, you never expected this. It's crazy still.
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
never really notice, or like what Tiana said, you never really know how much people are craving like a space like this until someone actually is doing it, because everyone wants to at least attach themselves to someone that, or a group of people that are actually able to go out there, protest, run protests, do campaigns, and just stuff like that. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And yeah, I'll go ahead and pass it off to Vince if he has any questions or anything.
No, I mean, it's just great. It's incredible to hear the story of it being able to propel from, like, you said it's been a year, roughly a year, maybe a little bit less, but it's just insane to know that you have 5 active chapters now. And I mean, I'm just kind of reiterating everything you said, but yeah, I guess we could move on from here too and see like where you see it in the next year and like the next 5 years, or if you want to take it somewhere else, like if there's something else you want to branch off from.
Yeah, this has been a big topic in the back of my mind because I just came out of a really long burnout phase, and I feel like a lot of people in the organization have, and I'm starting to realize like leading a youth-led organization where everyone's in high school, and like hate to be that person, but like we all are super moody teenagers sometimes, like it's very difficult because sometimes I get bedbound and I'm like, I do not want to work this week. I don't want to work next week. Like this month is an off month for me. And I just want to be in my feelings and be depressed. And like that's being really open and honest and vulnerable. And I feel like that's a lot of people. So I definitely don't want to shy away from that. But it's like that's the honest truth. And I don't want to force anyone or like put pressure on anyone to do something when they're in that kind of mood or in that funk. And I don't want to push myself through that either, because I know that's unhealthy, and just kind of like learning new healthy habits to keep myself afloat, because I do 1,000 things. But moving forward, we're right now in the middle of rebranding this summer. I kind of just want to take it to a different level. I want to definitely make it more creativity based. I want to make it more passion based, and I want to connect people's passions with social justice. And that is kind of a different approach of how we've came from the beginning. I think in the beginning, we kind of started off as like an educational platform where we would like post all of these infographics on Instagram, very organized, like just like random graphics, random fonts, random colors. I want to definitely get a lot more organized as we kind of set down and approach this next chapter of the organization. I want more organized social media. I want possibly a new logo. I just want to like rebrand it and consolidate everything and kind of make it more cut and clear, since I feel like it's just all over the place right now. But also I want to be able to, I could be a control freak sometimes, I'll be very honest, but I want to be able to take a step back and like kind of just let the nonprofit do what it's supposed to do. Give other people the experience, give other people the spotlight, give other people the chances and stuff like that. And like, I'm slowly starting to step away. Like, the campaigns are something that I definitely want to continue doing. I love the campaigns. Comfort Within Color was amazing. Then we had Honor Our Heritage, and we're working on a Pride Month campaign right now. And the Pride Month campaign actually was shot yesterday, and I was not there at all. And that was so hard for me because I was like, I want to be there to like, make sure everything's going on right and all this stuff. But I finally was able to kind of like let go and give the authority and give like the top, like, all the planning, the organizing. I had nothing to do with it. And that's really like coming back to like why I started this. Like, that's what I need to be doing more often. Like, of course, I'm still going to oversee everything, approve everything. My name is attached to it. But at the end of the day, like, I want it to be a place where there's no boundaries really for creativity. So I had everyone involved in that campaign. Like, they came up with the idea. They did the visionary. They're doing the blog post. Like, my name is not going to be on it at all. And I'm really excited just to see what they come up with. So I think that's kind of the future of why I foresee this summer and just moving forward. It's just like getting more people to take the initiative and kind of be leaders within the organization and like do their own things kind of without guidance and like learning and like messing up, but having a group of like really committed and like passionate people to fall back on, because I just want to like create that family dynamic kind of more, especially in the California chapter where we're all super close.
Yeah,
for sure.
Oh yeah, I don't know, like I can't believe like you're a little bit like going back, or not. I don't know, taking a little step control. I don't know what I'm saying right now. So like,
I would
yeah,
say
like,
she's. It seems like you're going for more of like an autonomous approach. Like you
Yeah.
want it to be able to run itself. Like
Yeah.
not in a way where you're completely like abandoning it, but more or less to give people like the chance to guide it with, you said, like we said with the passions, like maybe there's other passions we haven't sought out yet to focus on, like with regards to social justice. So it's like giving people the opportunity to pursue that. I think that's kind of what you were saying, right?
Absolutely. And I think it's also like a growth period for me. Like I know how I am, and
Right.
like how I can be not overbearing, but like I'm a perfectionist. Like I want to make sure everything is right. And that's the whole point of me doing this, was like to make sure that people are like, it doesn't always have to be perfect, and you can mess up 1,000 times and still come up on top, and still have a successful thing without the vision being exactly the way that it is. And it's really, I'm trying to build that experience for people, because I have a lot of connections. Like I network a lot in my day-to-day life, just doing interviews and being able to work for different people because of the work that I'm in. But at the end of the day, it's like, I want to prepare people my age to be successful as well, and like then further connect them to the other connections I have. That way I can actually help people like do what they love in their life, and like they can look back at it and be like, oh, I started this with Youth Advocacy for Change. Like I found this passion because I was part of this youth organization where it's just a bunch of creative people who love what they do and like want to give back and help. And that's how I got to the place that I'm in right now. Like that's the ultimate goal. Like 10 years from now, I want someone to be at my wedding like, Tiana, when you founded that organization back in 2020 in the middle of the pandemic, like you really kickstarted my career. And like that would be the dream. That'd be like, yes, thank you.
We'll definitely remember, especially the pandemic.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
But I do have a question. Like, how's your experience? Because you said you got featured with different, news outlets and stuff. And recently, I saw that you got featured with Vice World, right?
Yeah, Vice World News.
So yeah, how was your experience with that? That's actually pretty cool. I saw that, I was like, wow.
That's actually crazy that you said that, because I forget sometimes. Like things completely slip my mind.
You're doing too many things, Tiana.
Yeah.
But last year, I filmed an 8-part youth documentary with Vice World News. They were at my house every single day for like 2 months straight. It was exhausting. I cried a lot. I was really stressed, and I realized I don't like the camera on me a lot, like especially when I'm very vulnerable or like organizing and stressed. But I absolutely no disrespect to the whole Vice team. It was an amazing experience, and I'm so glad I got to be a part of it. But they really captured in this documentary, like the startup of the nonprofit. Like I think I haven't watched the whole thing, and it's been out for like a week, but I'm absolutely terrified to see myself like on TV and stuff. But they actually got the whole startup of me like buying a mic to start this podcast, like starting like to publish the website. Like they have everything, or at least they filmed everything. They filmed like my organizing for my protests and stuff. 2 of them that I've done. They followed me with the women's March protest and the March for Our Future on November 1st, when I kind of first started meeting the people who were going to stand on our board. So they have so much, like that has played a huge role, just that time period, because that was when the nonprofit was really taking off, and like we were getting a lot of donations, and I was going and doing all of these different interviews, and they kind of were able to capture all of that. So it was an amazing experience, very stressful, but it's really cool to look back at now, because I'm like, I don't even dress like that anymore. I don't even talk like that. My mindset has been so like evolved, and it's just cool to think like that was a few months ago. Like I can do so much in a few months, and like this organization has taken off so far. We didn't have any other state chapters back then, and I think the last week I recorded was like in November. So really state chapters is a new thing that came after the CNN thing, because CNN was, when I was honored on CNN as a Young Wonder Hero for the 2020 tribute show, it was played in internationally. So we actually had interest from Australia, New Zealand, and in Nigeria. But I was like, I don't know how to do an international nonprofit. We can't do that yet.
Dang.
So I just, a few of the girls, I think that's how I got in touch with Bella Moret from Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ohio, I think I met
Paloma?
Jenna through cheerleading, actually, because we both went on this all-American cheer trip and then to London. And then I met Paloma through, she watched my New York Times article. It was like a panel thing. So it's really cool to like do these big kind of like news engagements and like speaking engagements, and then see how many people I can pull, like kind of come to me after, like, hey, I want to join your organization, because that's where a lot of the students in general just have come from. I do a lot of guest speaking to schools in general, and I've spoken to like schools locally. I've spoken to every school in my school district except for my old high school, which is weird because I coach now. But I think I coach there now, so it's like they're not really thinking about it, and I'm also too close to comfort for that. But I've spoken to every other high school in the district almost, and I've spoken to lots of schools in the Bay Area, and like a lot of the students are from those speaking engagements that I've done, like assemblies at different schools, and especially our lower age population. I think like the 10 through 13 year olds, like those are all from schools that I've talked to that are involved in the organization.
That's cool.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, I know. Obviously, Tiana, you've done a lot of stuff. I don't want to move the spotlight away from you, but I actually want to talk to like Vince and Josh. I think because we've been I think I've been part of the organization the shortest. I don't know how long you both of you have been, but I think what a year in YFRC. I don't know what are your highlights, you guys. I want to know because I know Tiana, you have all of your things.
Yeah.
You have all of your things, which is awesome. And I know the three of us here, we've all just gotten involved here, and I don't know what you guys found as like just a highlight.
Unless Vince, you want to go first?
No, go ahead. I'll give you some time to think about it.
I think this is a pretty good highlight. I think seeing Tiana, after a while, I haven't seen you in a while, Tiana, after our interview, So I think seeing you now is a highlight, especially after seeing you do, a bunch of stuff, finally getting you sitting down and actually talking to you before I know, you're about to do a million other things. So I think right now is a pretty good highlight. And I know for everyone else, they get to hear you actually talk, non-candid or candidly. I think this is a pretty good highlight. And I also, another highlight for me was actually before I actually joined was actually you being on my podcast. I appreciate that because I literally just like DM'd her, really. Like we didn't even know each other. I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to, DM her. Let's see what happens. And then she agreed to come on. And I was like, man, so that I just wanted to let you know, that I still appreciate that. And it's also the reason why I'm still here and I'm still cheering on for, your journey and your organization in general. So that's definitely both of those are pretty much my highlights. So basically anytime I can, engage with you and actually get to see you before, you go off and do another interview for who knows what, So, but yeah, it's been pretty exciting, just actually keeping up with your journey in real time and then, talking to you in real time, especially. So those are pretty cool.
Josh.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I love this podcast. I love this team, like literally my whole heart. Thank you so much.
Yeah. I think it was the same thing with Josh. Is like I think I DM'd Tiana one time. We were gonna do an interview. It was gonna be at I don't remember which protest it was. It was at the very end of the Golden Gate Bridge. I was late too, and that's why I messed up because I was like, oh shit, I told her I'd be here at this time, and I like ran down the bridge, and I was like, oh my god, she's not here. I was like, she's not here anymore, and I was like, well, that was my fault. That was my fault though. That was like I got to the end of the bridge, and I was like, oh hey, so where's Tiana? And she's like, oh she's not here anymore. She's over. Well, I forgot what they told me, and I was like,
no, I didn't even go to that protest. I ended up like, because I showed up there, I like couldn't park. So don't worry, you didn't miss me.
Okay.
They basically told me I couldn't get on the bridge because they were like blocking everything. So
and that's crazy too, because that's what I thought the whole time. I had no idea, because when I got there, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna have my brother take over the wheel in my car. I'm like, here, you drive. I'm gonna jump out here, and then I'll just see if I can find her. And then there was all these barricades. I was like talking to the police. I was like, so what's going on with the protest? They didn't want to talk to me, and I was just like, all right, cool. Well,
yeah, I ended up
figure out
because there's no way I can get in here. So yeah, I went to Castro with like my friends, and like we were just like partying in the streets. It was like after the election.
That's the one. That's what it was. It was after the election. Yeah. That was awesome too, because then I went over to Haight and Ashbury, and I was like, there's just people dancing in the street, and I was like, dude, this is awesome. But that kind of like inspired me to keep doing it. And then I think the first interview I did for us was, I think I interviewed, was it Trinity and Cameron?
Yeah, Trinity and Cameron.
I interviewed them, and I was like super stoked about that. I was really nervous too, because I was like, man, like I'm hosting this one, and I was like, I don't want to mess this up. And then like afterwards I was like, man, this is awesome. Like it was just a great feeling. And then I interviewed the gentleman from Berkeley,
Jonah.
Yes, and that was another great podcast too. And then after that I was just like, this is something I definitely want to continue doing. And then I would go hang out with friends, or I'd see people like at parties, and I'd be like, that's my talking point. I'll be like, hey, look, I'm on this podcast, like you guys should listen to it. Or like I would tell someone like, yeah, here, let me see your phone really quick, like I'll type it in for you. And it's been really awesome. And there's actually I'm gonna shout out this guy. His name's Christopher Lockhead. He has his own podcast too. It's actually pretty big. He's interviewed like people from Netflix. He's interviewed Andre Iguodala. He's interviewed like some pretty. He
interviewed actually
people.
Obama. He's interviewed Obama.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know.
So he's interviewed. I got the pleasure to sit down. He actually goes to the gym that I train at, and my uncle introduced me to him, and I sat down with him and we listened through. I think it was the last episode we had, and we listened through it, and I was like, so can you give me pointers? And he gave me all these tips, and he was just like, it's a great podcast. And I believe he listened to the previous episodes. Anyways, yeah, it was just dope. It was just really cool to be able to see that like even a big time podcaster guy like him is just, he sees potential in our podcast. And that was kind of like another like put fuel under my feet. I was just like, dude, we got to keep doing this, because clearly it's got like we're unique in the podcast world. Even though there's a lot of podcasts, we still bring something new to the table. So I think those have been my highlights for sure.
Yo, Vince, like when you actually texted us that in our group chat, like he told us all the points. I'm like, yo, wait, what? I was like in the middle of my kitchen. I was like dancing. I was like, oh shit, yo! I was like that. I was going crazy, like because I just read the credits. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, he blew my mind. I was like, wow, he really like schooled. He's like, in a great way though. Like he's a very awesome dude, and he just totally explained it out and laid it out. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's something we can totally do, and especially for season 2 as well, when we work on doing other interviews, just focusing on that. But like I said, those have been my highlights. So
yeah, well, you guys have your highlights. My involvement's only on this podcast. That's the thing. I'm more of the I'm obviously the behind the scenes guy. Like I work my butt off too much for this, but yeah, like I think just seeing all the guests I've because how we usually film this is I'm the one actually recording this. I make the Zoom meetings and all stuff. I just edit myself out of the video and I don't speak in it. And I just I've seen Vince, Josh, and Nikita. Yeah, like I've seen all of them. I've seen all three of you guys. Like how you've been able to, I think, how you've all sort of been, I would say, grow. It's weird because I'm sort of the youngest one here, but
no, but totally,
yeah. But I've seen you guys all like, I know it's only been like 6 months, 10 episodes. Like I've seen you all grow, and you all have been so awesome about it. It was like this is like I didn't like want to feel like I was a dictator type of director, because I can be that kind of person sometimes. But
yeah, you were a dictator, man. I hated working under you, man.
I made it miserable.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, no, but I think just seeing all of this just work together, and really with how you guys interacted with all these guests, it blew my mind. I met so many people. You guys are the three of you, and this whole team, we are really close. And again, like I am grateful for this. Like, and I just want to say this, like, again, it was my choice to sort of end this podcast. I think it's a combination of like my own burnout. I didn't want to like because I was getting burnout a little bit towards the end of this.
Yeah.
And I think also like I don't know, and also like the amount of workload I ended up doing, and also how I think all of our schedules are like screwed technically at the same time. Like we're just lucky we're in quarantine, we're in this pandemic, and we're forced to go online. Like if we did an actual like in person, it would be more complicated. I'm like, in Tiana, like you don't know. I know you don't know anything about tech stuff and for podcasts, right? Yeah, exactly, exactly. This is the stuff like I practically am gonna be majoring in stuff. So, but yeah, I'm just grateful just knowing all of you over these last 6 months. It's just been a joyride for me, and yeah, hopefully all you guys stay alive still.
Yeah, hey, I'm double vaxxed, guys. Don't worry.
Likewise.
Yeah, we're all back. Yeah.
No, but like seriously, I'm so glad that you just like were able to identify that, because I feel like that's something I struggle with. Like when I'm burned out, I'm like, I can still do it. It's fine. And it's like it'll get done like 4 weeks after you tell me, or it's like I can't even like post something on Instagram. I'm like, oh my god, I'm like flying from here to here, and it's like I just want to sleep during like this time. And like I have a terrible time identifying like when I need to just take a break. So I'm so glad that you were just like, look, I love what we do here, but I need a break. And I think that's like super respectable. And regardless, I was planning to hopefully wrap up the first season before the end of the summer, so people could just enjoy their summer, and we can come back hopefully next season with a lot stronger of a schedule and just more organized in general, because the world's opening back up. We're all we're going outside.
We're all gonna be. The thing is, we're all gonna be really in different places. I know, Vince, you're gonna be in LA. Hopefully,
well, I mean, luckily with this technology, I mean, luckily with having these Zoom meetings, it's more than doable. So it's totally something we can continue for sure.
Yeah, I'm like the only one issue. I don't know if Josh is willing to do with the time difference when he's back in Ohio.
Yeah.
Hey man, you just let me know the details, and we'll work out whatever needs to get worked out.
We worked out your podcast because a couple hours ago I ended up recording. Josh practically did back-to-back podcasts. Pray God, dear God, I don't know how you're alive.
We recorded with someone in Palestine, so the schedule and timing is always work. You can always work your way around it, but definitely, like what Tiana said, it's definitely pretty mature on Cray's part just to call out that he is, burned out. It happens. I mean, honestly, especially with a lot of editing and Zoom, everything being online. So definitely. But yeah, when the next season comes up, just let me know. I mean, I'm not sure where I'll be, but wherever I'll be, I'll just read the message and just, definitely let me know. I'm always down to help you guys out however I can.
Yeah.
Totally.
I don't know. I feel like we're just like running out of questions. I think just.
Yeah. Well, I think that's like the natural break of it, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm like, we're doing this on YOLO, so. So that's it.
YOLO. Wait, I do want to ask. Wait, I have a question for Tiana. So, like, with now, like, what's your plan now? Like, I know you're going on a little break, or you just kind of like thinking or planning. Are you planning now, or are you just on a little break for yourself?
So, nonprofit wise, I kind of took a step back just because I knew it was kind of taking over my whole life. And I was saying before this, eventually have to go to school and start the rest of my life beyond this nonprofit. And that's why I'm kind of trying to take the step back. But right now, personally, I just signed with a talent agency here in the Bay Area. So I'm working on a lot of new projects and stuff. I'm realizing that I absolutely love photography, being in front of the camera and also being behind the camera with the campaigns. But I've been doing a lot of new modeling shoots lately, which has been really fun because I've been able to like design my own pieces to model myself. And then on top of that, just working with a lot of new and up and coming like organizations and brands and collaborations. I'm also trying to start my YouTube channel up again because I feel like a lot of people always talk about like, Tiana, you do so much in your life, like vlog it. And so on top of that, I'm also a cheer coach. So I coach my old high school team, and that has been really fun just being able to get back. But I think just bringing the authenticity back into my social media and like kind of showing who I am, because I've realized over the past year, it's like I'm not posting anything that's not activism related. And that's just not the kind of person that I like in my day to day. Like I do a lot of things in my life that's not all activism related. Like, I coach, and I also like have this fun, bubbly personality with my friends. And like I do other things in my life. And I think a lot of people recently have made me realize like I don't have to feel bad for not like just only posting one side of me on social media. So really working on trying to bring the authenticity back into my page and just like kind of discover me all over again, with this new identity of like being an activist and having this nonprofit. And we have a lot of new, fun, really exciting things coming at the end of the summer that I can't quite share yet with the whole wide world, but maybe I'll tell you guys after. But we have a super awesome campaign coming up that I'm really looking forward to at the end of the summer, just collaborating with new people, new organizations, and hopefully recruiting new members into the nonprofit. So lots of big things, lots of changes, but I'm excited for the future, for my own future, and also for the nonprofit's future.
That's definitely a full package. And I have one more fun question than anyone can go ahead. I'm sorry, guys.
No,
it's great.
Josh, I've gotten used to you, so it's fine.
Yeah, Cray knows what's up. I've been forcing him on my podcast, so he already knows how it goes. But I know Vince, are you going to UCLA? I was just kind of curious as to like what you guys maybe see yourselves doing or want to do in the future. Like, I know, we're pretty much talking about like the present and whole organization, podcast, blah, blah, blah. But like, if someone were to ask you like, oh, what's your passion for like, later on in life? I don't know. Maybe you're going to school studying something, Vince?
Yeah. I'm actually going to study political science. So it's like pretty similar to what we're discussing now. And I'm also hoping to minor in it's either neuroscience or another field in medicine, because I've always been interested in pursuing medicine, like becoming either a physician or an ER surgeon. Those are like my main goals. But now it was actually from this last summer that I've kind of changed my trajectory, kind of wanting to do more public office orientated things, like running for a city council position, or even eventually like a Congress position, or even
Senator
Senate.
Wolf.
Senator Wolf, yeah, I thought that. I think it sounds good, yeah.
Wolf.
Yeah, so something like that in the future would be awesome. But yeah, I mean, I can't wait to get down to Los Angeles, and I also I want to continue doing this, and I want to continue with podcasting as well. I'm actually reviving my old podcast. I'm gonna plug my old podcast right now. It's
fine.
Okay, I'll put it in. Yeah,
I'm putting Josh's also, so it doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah,
so it's perfect. Yeah.
Stuff.
So it's gonna be called Vince Wolf's A New Lens, and the first episode I've actually got several people lined up. I sell vintage clothing on the side, so I'm talking with the people who run the main events here in the Bay Area and also in Sacramento. So we're going to have a discussion just kind of on the market of vintage clothing, where they see it going, and then basically how the ins and outs of it work. Because it's actually a lot easier to do than most people assume, and it would be awesome to get more people involved in it. So it's kind of going to be more of an investigative podcast and then just talking about that. But the whole podcast itself is going to be kind of focused on like a wide array of things. So from anywhere from, vintage clothing to politics, and just focusing on one little specific topic, so you can come away with it like learning something new and be like, oh, now I know this, and if someone brings it up, now I know how to talk about it. So
definitely. That's cool.
Dope. Sounds dope. Yeah.
What about you, Cray? Before I get to Tiana, let's give Tiana a break from talking a little bit.
I'm because I'm more of an editor. I'm actually into music production. And I'm right now I'm going to community college. You can do but I'm gonna major in music production, community college, DVC, and I don't know. It's like because I'm in production, like I was like, why not edit this stuff? And I don't know. I still don't know my future, like if I do want to still edit for other podcasts or like this one, because again, the work is a lot, and I do have my own creative stuff, like I post covers and stuff, which I'm crap at, I think, in my opinion.
No, I think
No, it's
I work
great.
too hard. Yeah, no, I do stuff. I do a lot of music, more trying to get into more some original stuff and just working out with that. And like I consider myself the ambitious, stupid person doing music as a major because obviously that's the most it's super unstable. But I'm I'm gonna try and make a career out of it if I can.
no, but
As long as you're fun, yeah.
As long as I
you
can do
have
it.
to have the passion for it. And I'm just gonna be really preachy for 1 second. Like honestly, like Cray, you gotta be positive. Like you gotta love yourself and you gotta love the work that you do because clearly you have the passion for it. But like like change your mindset on it because it doesn't have to be a stupid career path. Like if that's your passion, you could really make something out of it. And like obviously, if you didn't believe in yourself, you wouldn't have chosen it in the first place. So my advice to you is stick with it through. Like just like let your passion lead you, let your heart lead you, because I think that it can take you really far as long as you believe in yourself.
Thanks so much, Tiana. But
You're welcome.
Yeah, making me feel, yeah, but yeah, I'm just hoping I can do something out music in the future. I'm like, I created at least the outro for this podcast, so at least there's something. So yeah.
It's more than something. I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And
It's like an internship. This
Exactly.
podcast.
That's true. That is true. Yeah.
this podcast is something great for your application, by the way. When you go to transfer, if you put this on your application, it's gonna look fantastic. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Do it, go cray full speed.
Yeah, we're supposed
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
All right. Josh, what about you? Oh,
No, go ahead, Tiana.
Yeah,
before
sorry.
I go.
No, I was just saying I
Tiana.
love it. I love it. Josh, passing it to you.
So I am studying international studies. So that's my major, and then my minor is political science, just like Vince. And then because I mean, you guys don't know that much about me, but like I've been able to like travel, around the world and live in different places. So like I was like, okay, I didn't really want to know what I want to do in college, but I was like, might as well use my life experience to, pick a major that fits my life experience. So it'd just be easier in college, especially because we just learn about, different places in the world. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I've had a sense of that place and it's just easier to write about or talk about. So that's my major. And hopefully, same as Vince, public office, but I'm not as much as into public office because I'm not that celebrity type and I'm not as good looking as Vince.
You look good. You look good.
but definitely, I don't know. I would see I definitely want to maybe, because I'm also going into the military, like later on into the army, just to get to, some of that experience. So I want to go into at least like diplomacy or foreign relations. Hopefully my main goal would be working in the State Department or any agency, quote unquote. I just say agency because then people get, what? You want to be fed? Like pretty much, but that would be my my end point. But yeah, my major international studies and minor is political science. So we'll see how far that goes. And I did take some public like PR classes, and I love PR. So when I was, when you advertised this, I was like, oh, this is a pretty good, opportunity to practice some PR. And actually, in my PR class, I actually plugged in your podcast and your organization, and they all loved it. Like they all went on to the infographics and everything because we had like this assignment. They're like, okay, for your PR assignment, you got to pick an organization local, blah, blah. I was like, oh, I already know. Like I got one. And so I ended up writing about that. But that's pretty much what I would want to do, either PR or anything in the world of foreign relations, which would be cool because I love to travel too. So that would be another opportunity to travel. So awesome. I don't know what about you, Tiana?
Oh, basically this is where we started, but honestly, I guess school-wise, I always say that I want to either go to Howard, Berkeley, or USC, but I don't know when I'm going to school, to be honest with you. I feel like there will be a time where I just feel ready. I will be applying this fall, but I don't know if I will actually take off yet because I have strong roots here in the Bay, but I don't think I want to be in school, if that makes sense.
Right.
Whenever,
Yeah. Oh no, I get what you mean. I go to school in Ohio.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm doing DVC. I know you went to the same school as me, and
Yeah.
Vince also did community college also, and he's doing the tutor thing. I'm like,
Right.
I know me and Tiana, we had the perception of DVC to us was like, by our schools is like, oh, it's seen as hell and stuff. But like, one, I'm paying nothing really. Like,
yeah, I took
that's
classes this year at DVC.
Exactly.
I just was not very committed to it. I've never been book smart. Like, and I preach that all the time because people are like, oh my God, you've been on CNN and you have a documentary about you. I'm like, in high school, I was not good at school. I've never been good at school. I hate I'm like not book smart at all. I'm definitely street smart, but cannot for the living anything of me. Like I have to go easy major for sure. Like when I'm ready to school, I just have to get the degree and have to get out. Like that's really, I preach it, you know, people should be educated, go to school. I'm all for it. But like personally, my attention span is so low. Like I always want to just do something new, get work very easily, which is why this nonprofit is awesome for me because I get a taste of everything. But school wise, it's another story. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll find out on the next season. So that's a good thing. Does you want to go to school?
Yeah, definitely.
I think I think just, do we have any last words we want to say? I think we just don't.
No, I think it's been a great season 1. It's been awesome. We've had a lot of episodes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys, and thanks, Craig. Thanks, Vince, Nikita.
Shout out Nikita. I know you're listening. I know you're listening.
Yeah. Yeah. And thank you guys again. You know, when you guys are up and running again, you know, just hit me up. I'll answer wherever I am. You know, wherever I'll be. I don't know, but I'll definitely, you know, pitch in here and there wherever I can. So definitely, you know, just hit me up whenever. And again, thanks Tiana for letting us all just come on and interview people and just talk about, you know, stuff that's important and stuff that needs to be talked about. So
yeah. Well, I'm excited. I'm happy that I was able to provide that platform for you guys. And just like, obviously one last huge thank you to all 3 of you plus Nikita and everyone who is listening, has been tuning in. It means the world to me because I would have never thought in my little 17-year-old brain last year that we would have a podcast that was this complex with so many amazing hosts and so many amazing guests and just like awesome production team of one. Shout out Craig again.
Yeah.
But it's been an awesome ride and I'm excited to see what's next for us in the future.
Yeah.
I think you guys all stole it. So yeah, Vince, I think that's it.
Sign us out.
You want to sign us out, Vince, or you want me to do it?
Sure. I can do it. Yeah. Well, thank you guys again for listening to Amplify Our Advocacy. This has been the last episode of season 1, so please make sure to stay tuned on our Instagram for announcements on season 2. And thank you guys. And make sure to listen to any old episodes if you haven't listened to them yet. We've got plenty of them logged in Spotify and Apple Music, and I believe SoundCloud as well. So feel free to check those out.
And check us out on Instagram too to stay up to date with everything at Youth Advocates for Change.
Yeah.
Sure, for sure.
All right.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.